Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Unrooted Women's Volleyball Edition, and my guest for this week's show is none other than the other senior on the women's volleyball team, Hannah Hudson. Hannah, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Let's start by getting to know you a little bit better. Again, I talked to the other senior on the team last week, Bailey Gomez. You two make up the only ones in the bunch. Has it hit you yet that you're going through your final season?
Absolutely not. We were actually talking to Denise the other day about how the season's already halfway over, and it's crazy because I was calculating it and I've spent a little bit of under half my life playing volleyball.
Wow.
And just to think that in a month and a half almost that is like it's going to be over, and
yeah.
I'm not sure that it'll hit me when the season actually finishes or when the next year starts and I'm not in preseason doing anything, but I think it'll be good. It's fun to have something in your life for this long and know that you've succeeded at it and that you can have that in your memories. And yeah.
And for sure you've succeeded at it. You were an All-American nominee at Olympic College in Washington, where you're from, Sequim, Washington. I'm not going to screw up that pronunciation anymore. You were one of many individuals who migrates from Washington to the California Bay Area, and a lot of people go from the Bay Area to Washington as well. What's the one thing you miss the most about home?
I would say, well, my mom always said that I liked California and that she could see me coming to California because I like the warmth and everything like that, but I think I miss the weather in Washington the most. When it was raining here and a little bit of overcast, that's just my favorite time. It makes me happy. It's like a comfortable state because in Washington I'm used to wearing, sweaters and all those comfy clothes, and I think it's been a good transition. I've liked it here because here to Sequim are two completely different places, and so it's fun to be able to experience both, but I think the Washington weather is what I'm missing the most.
I'm surprised to hear you say that because for me, the rain creates the opposite effect. Depression instead of happiness. I gotta stay inside and do nothing all day. That just makes me sad.
Yeah, I think in moderation, the rain is good. I definitely understand when it rains continuously. It can,
like it does in Washington,
can be a little sad sometimes, but when you get little spurts of sun here and there, it's manageable.
So how much does it really rain in Sequim? Is it as bad as I'm thinking it is?
I mean, it's called sunny Sequim. That's what we call it, but we do get a decent amount of rain every now and then.
How many days would you say out of the year? I've heard some people in Washington say it's like over 200. Are you going to go close to that, or are you going to go a little bit lower?
I would say, let's go with months. I'll say 8 or 9 months out of the year, it probably is a good amount of rain.
Yeah, that's sunny Sequim, all right. That's very sunny. I've had a few people on the team tell me that you are kind of the calming presence of the bunch, and you can be the glue that holds the team together at times. Does that come from the nature of your position as a libero?
I think part of it can, just because with my position, you never really know what's coming at you. And with that, you can't be frantic. You just have to stay calm, be where you are, and then react to whatever is given to you. And I don't know if it's a quote or just a saying that I've heard, it's life is 20% what gets thrown at you and 80% how you handle it. And that is one thing that I like to live by when it comes to staying calm. Just controlling the things you can't control and working positively with the things you can't.
Let's talk a little bit about the team now. All things considered, it was a very impressive week for Menlo last week. You guys went 2-1. It might be a tough question to answer, but which match was most impressive for you guys as a team?
I think for me, Masters is what stands out because I think the very first set, the first 6 points went by so fast. And I remember waiting, I think Monica was serving, and I was sitting there waiting for her to serve, and I was like, wow, like we are killing it right now.
We're up 6-0.
Like,
yeah.
This is awesome. And I think just the way that we were able to execute in that game and really focus on what we had been practicing to win and beat Masters, it was really cool just to see us so confident out there and like just hitting the ball like crazy.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I think that mentality was pretty evident all weekend long. You guys had one loss that came to the 5th ranked team in the nation, Westmont, but you became just one of 4 teams to take a set from that Warriors team all season long. 18-1 on the year are the Warriors. That 3rd set was the one you guys took from Westmont. What went right during that match?
No, I think after the first 2, yes, we lost, but they weren't devastating losses. And I think once we wrapped our heads around, like, hey, we are competing with the number 5 team in the nation right now, we kind of took that confidence and just rolled with it in the 3rd set. And we, our block got more disciplined, our serving was better, our defense picked up, like our hitters were hitting the seams and hitting open spots on the court. And I think our block was probably the main focus in that 3rd set because they were shutting down their big hitters, and so they were tipping a lot, and our defense is set up to pick up all the tips, and I think that gave us a little bit of extra motivation to roll with, so that was fun.
Even though you guys lost the match, I have to imagine it's a huge confidence boost to get a set victory against one of the top 5 teams in the nation. Am I right?
Yeah. I think, of course, nobody likes to lose, but I think losing in that aspect where it wasn't a complete shutout, where we rallied with the number 5 team, it was definitely an eye-opening experience. Like, hey, we're a completely different team than we were last year. Let's use this momentum and this power that we have and just see where it takes us.
And hey, you guys knocked them down a few spots in the conference rankings too, so
nice.
Of course that helps. The story of last week was aces up. You guys had 16 aces in the match against UC Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
That is a huge number, and the Menlo team ranks 3rd in the nation in aces overall. What is the key to being so good at getting so many aces?
Well, our coach Denise has really ingrained the term flean serving into our routine, which is flat and clean. So we want our serves to be flat, so just like a short distance above the net, not lollipops or anything like that, and clean, so I mean they don't hit the net, they're just nice and solid right over. And we've really been working on hitting seams, so the pathways between the servers or the passers. And our assistant coach Zach, he said he takes a lot of the credit for those aces because he gives us the spots on the court for the seams or short serves. And I think they've just been pushing us a lot to test our limits and test our boundaries for competitive serving, and it's definitely paying off.
And you guys have 2 more conference matches this week against San Diego Christian and Arizona Christian, Friday and Saturday. What is the scouting report on those 2 teams, and what's it going to take for you guys to get a couple of conference wins?
We just have to play Menlo volleyball. Work on executing what we've been practicing. They are scrappy teams on defense, so they'll get a lot of stuff up, but they leave a lot of open spots too, and that's something that we're working on identifying during practice and really working on hitting those spots. They have, they're not the tallest bunch, but they set a good solid block. We talked about how it's pretty similar to Vanguard's block, so it's solid, but it's beatable. And so I think if we work on hitting our high hands, and as defense, we've really been working on talking to our hitters, telling them what they have open, and I think if we just focus on all those things, it'll be 2 good games and 2 good wins under our belt.
All right, Hannah, let's get into the final segment of the show. It's called Brownie Bites. I'm going to ask you 3 random off-the-wall questions. You give me your best answer. Question number 1, kind of obvious, being that you're from Washington, which teammate hates the rain the most?
I would say teammate would be Nicole, and I'm going to add in Denise as well, because Denise has expressed her hate for the rain. And I think being girls, it mostly comes with our hair. the rain makes it frizzy. We do it nice, and then the rain just messes it up. And it's, I definitely have moments where I don't like the rain the most, but I definitely say Denise and Nicole.
Good thing I don't have that problem on my end. Question number 2. Which teammate would be the best at a different existing sport at Menlo? So who could pull off the 2-sport athlete best?
I think, well, Jade and Bailey both played softball growing up, and I'm not really sure who else has played other sports on our team, but I do have an idea. Kenzie at track and field.
Okay, why?
Because Kenzie is a beast, and she is so fast and so strong. I think she would do great at any sort of sprinting or like shot put or the javelin or anything like that.
I feel like she could also be like the Energizer Bunny. I think she could just keep going and going and going.
Kenzie doesn't stop.
Yeah, you're right. And question number 3. If you could beat any 2 teammates at Wheel of Fortune, who would it be and why?
This was a tough one. I think I would say Bailey and Brooke, because we have a lot of, like, the group dynamic on our team is talking through the net to other teams, like faking them out. And I don't respond very well to that. And so I think Brooke and Bailey are the ones that would be the nicest in competitive situations. And I also think that if I did beat them, that with whatever I won, that I would share with them.
So you would be nice.
We would go on a trip together.
You would be nice. Okay. Well, that works out. At least you're not going to let the competitive nature of Wheel of Fortune, of all things, get the best of you. So that's good.
Yeah, I'm going to have to practice. I've never thought about it if I was on Wheel of Fortune.
You've never thought about it?
I don't really even know what it is, to be honest. I know it's a game show, but like, what do they do? I don't know.
You spin a wheel and you pick letters on the puzzle and you try to guess it correctly. It'll say like it's a phrase. Okay, well then you got all the blank tiles up on the board, and then Vanna White goes up there and she touches it, and boom. And
I know what that is now.
Come on, that's like one of the best games of all time.
I have to do some more research on it.
All right, well we're gonna get you an application to go on the show, and we'll get Bailey and Brooke in on it as well, and we'll see what happens.
Brooke and Bailey, coming for you.
All right, Hannah, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And fans, the Oaks are at home again this weekend for the final time in the month of September. 2 conference matches on Friday and Saturday. The Friday match is against San Diego Christian with first serve at 7:00 p.m. And then on Saturday, some afternoon volleyball against Arizona Christian. That's the 30th, and first serve is at 2:00. We invite you to tune into next week's show when Hannah Hudson will select the next athlete to be interviewed by me, Brian Brownfield, right here on Unrooted Women's Volleyball Edition. Until then, we'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.